Hi everyone and welcome to QuantPy. In the previous videos of this Slice and Dice series, we derived the Black-Scholes formula, this simple Nobel Prize winning one-liner, using two different approaches. Then we proceeded to derive its delta, again a very simple approach. In this video, we are going to derive the second derivative of the option price with respect to S. You already know it as gamma. Delta is a simple expression, so its derivative gamma is not hard to derive. Essentially, delta is a cumulative normal function, so we expect gamma to take the form of a normal density. The derivation is only going to take a couple of minutes, and right after that, we will explore the behavior of gamma as a function of the parameters visually. Essentially, what does the gamma profile look like, and how does it shift when we change the parameters? And then, as a bonus, hey, we will derive the formula for the value of S at which the gamma attains its maximum. So let's get going. To derive gamma, we differentiate delta with respect to S. Now, to calculate the derivative of phi, which is a normal distribution function, we write it in integral form and then apply the Leibniz integral rule. And if you are from a statistics background, then you already know that the derivative of the distribution function is the density function, which we show in this diagram. We know that the cumulative normal of D1 means the area under the curve to the left of D1. Now, if we increase the D1, we know the area will increase by the height of the curve at that point. We know that the height of the curve at any point is a normal density evaluated at that point. So if we denote the density by lower phi, we can write the derivative as follows. Notice, d1 is a function of S, so we apply the chain rule, i.e. we multiply the density by the derivative of d1 with respect to S. Now let's reproduce the d1 expression. We need to differentiate it with respect to S, so we isolate the S term. When we differentiate with respect to S, the second term gives us 0 because it does not depend on S, so its derivative with respect to S is 0. While the derivative of its friend, log of S, is equal to 1 divided by S, so we get. Now, we're ready to substitute this into the gamma expression, so we get. And whilst we are at it, let's Greek it all the way and represent it with the proper third Greek letter of the alphabet, gamma. It's a beautifully simple expression as promised. In one word, it is a transformation of a normal density. To give you a flavour of things to come, we know the normal density is bell-shaped, so we expect to see some skewed bell-shaped profile. Before we move on to explore its profile visually, first we expand the expression, i.e. we write the normal density. Then we substitute d1 to write the gamma in terms of the Black-Scholes input. Now, we plot gamma as a function of S for a hypothetical set of parameters. The x-axis represents S0 and the y-axis represents gamma. Skewed bell-shaped as anticipated. By the way, the peak or the maximum occurs at the value of S given by this expression, and we will derive this expression as a bonus right after the visuals. It is helpful to recall the profile of delta as a function of S. You already know that the delta of a deep in the money call option is close to 1. The delta of a deep out of the money call option is close to 0. And the slope of the delta is the steepest around the at the money zone. So the shape of gamma comes as no surprise, because gamma is just a derivative or the rate of change of delta. So the steepest delta means higher gamma. Now let's have some fun with it and watch what happens if we change the strike. If we increase the strike, as you are all expecting, the peak shifts to the right as the strike increases. We see the weight shifts to the right. This is because the at the money zone is shifting with the changing strike K, and gamma follows the at the money region, even though the S in the denominator of the gamma pushes the peak of the gamma mountain downward for higher values of S. The reverse happens when you decrease the strike. Now let's see what happens when we increase sigma. When we watched the video on delta, we saw how the plotted delta curve behaved as we increased small v. We saw that the section of the curve which captured the delta of the out of the money option kept on increasing, while the section of that same curve which captured the delta of the in the money option decreased, and then started increasing until the delta flattened at 1. With that visual on the behavior of delta in mind, we know that as we increase sigma, the gamma of the in the money section of the delta curve will start flattening and be worth 0. We also remember that for low values of small v, the delta was like a step function, so the gamma is 0 except at the step point. Time t should have a similar impact. Let's watch it in action. Now, as a teaser, can you explain what is happening when we change R, the risk-free rate? Moving on to the promise we made earlier in this video, let's quickly derive the value of S at which gamma attains its maximum. I can almost hear you, yes indeed. To calculate the maximum, we take the derivative of gamma with respect to S, and then set the derivative equal to 0. So let's differentiate. Now we apply the product rule of calculus to get. Now, the derivative of 1 over s is equal to minus 1 divided by s squared, so the derivative in the first term is straightforward. For the derivative of the normal density in the second term, we need to roll up our sleeves, so let's bring up that normal density. There it is. Now let's differentiate it with respect to s, so we get. We recall from earlier that the derivative of an exponential is itself, and that we used a chain rule. Now, the derivative of d1 squared is equal to 2 times d1, so the 2's cancel and we get. We also saw earlier that the derivative of d1 with respect to s is as follows. Let's substitute this into the expression, we get. We substitute this back into this expression to get. We evaluated the derivative of 1 over s as well. Factoring the common term, we get. Now, the term outside will be 0 at the extreme. As we saw earlier, very low s or very large s, because it contains a normal density which we know tails off at both ends. But having touched on the peak briefly earlier, we are interested in the middle. Remember the position at the peak. So the point of interest is when the term inside the brackets is 0. Substituting for d1, we get. Multiplying through by sigma squared times t, we get. Isolating log of s on the left-hand side, we get. And now we just need to exponentiate to get the value of s. That would give the maximum gamma. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next.